Hello, welcome. Welcome to Wholesale Hotties Live, the podcast where ladies in real estate talk about real estate. I'm Sharon-Lee Smith, your MC for the evening, and I'm joined today by my fellow co-hosts, Donda Mullinex, Monique Fell, Kate Gomes, and Angie Milanazzo. Girl, you got some tools today, don't you? Today's our special guest host is Ashley Perez. Ashley, welcome.
Thanks for having me, ladies. I'm very excited for this.
Nice. We're very glad you're here.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about yourself.
All right. So a little bit about me. I am a mother. I am a business owner. I have multiple businesses. I'm also an entrepreneur. So I'm a business builder in every sense of the word. I've been in real estate now for the last 3 years, been fully integrated into the process for 2. And I am coming to you live from my RV park in Inverness, Florida.
So wait a minute. Are you
nice?
Are you in your office there, or?
Yes, this is the office. Yeah, this is the office at the park, and everyone's kind of letting me just, not interrupting anything. So yeah, I'm here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said it's in Inverness, and you were telling us earlier, it took you how long to get there, girl?
Oh my gosh. It took me 5 hours to get here because of traffic. And I would have just turned around after like 30, 40 minutes of being here and drove another 4 hours back if it wasn't for the show. But this is going to be a nice break in between.
Oh, good.
Right.
Things we do for our businesses. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So tell us the story about this RV park. How'd you come across this?
Well, I share this story a lot, so I don't want to just kind of keep beating the dead horse about it. But this was an RV park that I found on Biz Buy Sell. And it was originally a men's only clothing optional park.
What?
Wow.
That was quite fun to clean up, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I did not know, it was not advertised that way. So it wasn't like I was looking for naked.
That's what you say now, Ashley.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah.
We'll roll with
I
that.
didn't know they even existed. Oh my word.
So, okay. So Biz Buy
Only
Sell
in
where you
Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us more about like deal acquisition. Where are you? You've been operating for a while. You do some wholesale. You do different things. Tell us more about how you're finding deals.
Oh my gosh. I have really been very successful using the software that a few of us are, partners in. Maybe all of you, but we are using prop.ai, which is the AI cold caller from Pace and Nathan Cahill. That has been the major source of our deal flow. We've generated over 200 leads in the last 3 months, and I have found amazing opportunities. Just recently, just to name a few, we got in touch with a woman who was ready to sell her park, a 68-acre RV park. Here, also open to seller financing. I am also, if all goes well, will buy my very first house in Windermere, Florida, which checks all of the boxes that I have ever wanted in a first house. And I will have acquired it sub 2 and 100% seller carry.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that also with Prop AI?
That was from prop.ai.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, Ashley.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. It's been great. That's been a lot of it's cold calling is a tremendous outsource when you're looking for deals. I don't just want to wait for deals to come my way by telling people my buy box. I'm very eager to build my portfolio, and I have built my other businesses from the ground up. So I'm very familiar with this process, and acquisitions, building out this company is going to help me reach my Mount Everest of being a billionaire. And that's not, if I'm going to be a billionaire, that you can't just wait around for that. So
unless you buy XRP, then maybe you can.
Yeah, back in 2013, if I had done that. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. So that's thank you. Yeah, that's what we've been doing in acquisitions lately.
So
that's
can I ask?
awesome. Go ahead.
Oh, can I ask you a little more about Prop AI? Because I heard you say you're generating lots of leads, but how many deals have you closed from that?
Oh, that's a great question. So we are under contract. We've gotten under contract and LOI accepted for 4 of our deals. Of the leads that we've generated, still working. I'm not of the mindset of just getting deals under contract and then really trying to wholesale deals that don't have great terms. Right. I want to do proper underwriting. I want to be the one that has the first access to them first. So when we're pulling through the leads and the deals, I'm looking at it from my own lens of, is this my acquisition? And so I will slowly take it through the process. A lot of these deals have taken, or deals under contract and LOI accepted, have taken multiple conversations. I'm also very much wanting to get these deals done creatively. So we did have a deal under contract as a cash sale, and then I couldn't wholesale it. So
no kidding.
Because that's not how I wanted to buy it. So it wasn't going to be my opportunity. It was going to be somebody else's opportunity. I have now since put together some buyers, but still, if it doesn't fit all the criteria, then I'm finding myself having the conversation again with a seller where I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I made you take your house off of the market and I couldn't sell it for you. Like, that is terrible. So I really don't want to put myself ever in that position again. So although I'm generating a lot of leads, I am only cherry picking the best, and I'm spending my time working that lead, that relationship, to get to a really great end deal as far as terms go. So nothing's finalized. Even with this house that we found, that was a conversation that started back in July.
Wow.
No.
So working, and that takes time, going to see the house and talking, and this holiday's come up and call me back later. And I'm not like, okay, take your time, go. Yeah. We'll pick, I'm not trying to rush the deals, but they are coming. They are coming, and they'll come in large waves because of the fact that we've been building and building and building it up. So,
right. And then all of a sudden one day you'll close like 3 amazing deals. That's
exactly. Exactly the point. Yeah.
Well, actually, for the people who may not know what an LOI is, can you maybe go into a little bit of explanation of when you say, hey, I've got an LOI accepted, what would you say to the person who wouldn't know what that meant?
So when I'm sending an LOI, a letter of intent, I am telling the seller that I intend to buy this property with these terms, under these conditions. And if these conditions pass, then we'll take it through and finally get it under contract, and in the next step of actually going through with the purchase. And that happens a lot more in the commercial space, in the business acquisition space, than it does in the residential space. In residential, you're getting the deal, you're getting the home under contract, you're going auctions, and then you're going to get the, purchase the home. In business, we need documents that we need to see before we even spend the time trying to, put funds together and actually going through the acquisition part of it. So there's two different phases there, but once you have gone through the letter of intent phase, then now it's like, it's kind of like your it is your due diligence period, but the period in which you have the opportunity to decline the deal before you actually take it into its next phase of putting down EMD and doing further, deeper inspections of the business.
And that's different from single family home or even small multifamily like duplexes, triplexes, quads, that type of thing. This, we're talking commercial or business buying, is a letter of intent that you issue. And then there's this period where you get all these docs where you can really vet the deal in a deeper fashion. And then you can make your offer with your EMD and that type of thing. Correct?
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Cool.
So go ahead.
That's okay. Sorry. Are you, were you ever in single family space at all? And if so, what were you doing there when you were there for?
Yeah. So, in the single family, that was actually my first wholesale. I wholesaled my first, single family home. And it was kind of like a checkbox for me. It was like, okay, check, did it. Now let's do the next thing.
Was that this year?
I love it.
That was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And actually Pace highlighted that as a really great terms. I don't remember the exact terms because it was 2 years ago. It was like a long time ago, but I made $20,000.
Wow. You wholesaled your first deal 2 years ago, and you own an RV park today and other things.
Yeah, I kept it moving. But residential was how I started it. I started into real estate because I've always wanted to be in the bigger deals. And a lot of people can get that, like that's where they envision themselves in a future sense. But they get stopped when they realize the big hurdles that come along with it, one of it being funds. And when you think of, oh my gosh, how do I take down $1 million, $2 million deal when I've never done a deal before?
Right.
That's when you have to be like, okay, let me take this in a smaller, let's bite this in chunks and go at it as a single family, but a single family as an investment. Right. Not as your home. You're getting into single family little by little. Get a few under your belt. And then just start to get yourself comfortable with transactions, the terminology, make your connections with people that can then make the next level of investing into real estate easier. Prop
AI is fairly new, but you've been doing this 2 years and transitioning along the way into bigger and different things. So what were you doing along the way for different acquisition strategies?
Cool. Great
Were
question.
you doing like direct mail? Were you doing agent outreach? Were you like, what was going on?
So my background is door-to-door sales. I left college taking a 1099 sales position, going business to business. Nice. And that has been the main source of my income generation.
What were you selling, Ashley?
So back then, and it is where we started our first business is in merchant processing and restaurant point of sale. Mm-hmm. So we would go into different businesses and people are accepting credit cards, and we would say our pitch and we would try to get them to now sign up with us.
Right.
And if we're at a restaurant, they need the computers to put in their orders, but then that's another way that you can put in the credit card processing as well. So 3 years into that, or like 2.5 years into doing that as a 1099 rep, we turned that into a business, and that business celebrated 10 years in April of this.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Amazing.
when we opened up a second business, and every business that we've ever started has the main driving force is sales. And
Right.
we always start with a team doing that, whether that's me starting out generating those sales and then getting the reps and then moving on to other avenues to generate our leads. But then in our second business was then residential door to door, and that second business is in residential solar. So still same script, still you're still going to get objections, still going door to door, generating leads that way.
Yeah.
So when I get into real estate, I am like, let's go talk to these sellers. Like I would go on Zillow and I'm looking
That's an easy transition, right?
yeah. And I think what's helpful when you get into these communities is to know what to look for. You don't just want to look at the house to hit the market the first day, especially when you're trying to take down these houses creatively. You need to find where you're going to be able to hit certain points that help them get to their result of selling their property, which is look at a property that's been on the market for 90 days and, read through their description and have they dropped their prices multiple times. Like that's the perfect setup, for an opportunity to get to the seller and find reasons that they would want to sell creatively. And so, finding that out and getting in myself in these communities and buying into these masterminds, just help me narrow in on how I need to be looking for the strategies that I need to be using. Mm-hmm. And so even when I was looking for this RV park, I was driving around to different RV parks. I was calling RV parks. Like I'm doing all the manual ways of finding deals until Prop AI gets released. And when Prop AI gets released and completely eliminates my time calling people and eliminating the headache of people, yelling at me for calling take me off of your list.
So they could yell at the robot.
Yeah, they could yell at the robot. It's an easy decision for me. It's so in both of our businesses, we have call centers. In the one, we still have it. In the second one that we ended up opening, we ended up shutting it down because we spent so much money into the operations of it. And then the time that it takes to train up these people. You have to be listening to their call and telling them how to answer it. And so, the return on the investment and a physical call center wasn't there for our business at that time. And so Prop AI literally turns a 1-person call center into a 4-person team immediately with no training, no time spent. You just upload the list and it's calling on your leads for you.
Yeah. And then are you doing the follow-up calls or do you have a team of people doing the follow-up calls for you?
Both. So I've got a handful of team members that were put together during the Prop AI challenge, and some of us has stayed together past the challenge ending. I've added on a few people, and I also will call on the leads myself because I know that it's speed to lead. So if I have a team member that's not available right away, I'm like, oh, we got to call the lead right now. I will also call. Yeah.
Do you guys have a plan in place for when the new regulations come into effect January 5th?
Ooh.
So this is I want you to tell me what the regulation is, but I will tell you the response that I gave to somebody who asked me, how have you been handling, because I think text messaging was,
Yeah, I'm not even really concerned about text messaging. I have that under control. So the new regulations for specifically for like this conversational robot type thing, because Prop AI isn't the only one out there. There's probably a dozen or so. But the new regulations say that the number has to specifically opt in for you to call them. So it's no longer scrubbing against a DNC list. It's have they opted in to even get a phone call in the first place? And so how's your pivot on that? What's your plan?
So the pivot would be, and this is like layered, but the pivot I would tell people to do is to call businesses then. To use Prop AI to call businesses, because you can get leads lists from sources that have it said that they've opted in. I mean, then my second layer to add on to that is everything opted in, the right way? Like sometimes I'm just like, yes. And then now, it's like, did I really opt into that? No, I was kind of like forced into that. And so I would then say, don't let it stop you. And then the final layer to that is why not to let it stop you is because you are using a company that is taking on that extra layer of liability for you. So if you were the ones that programmed the AI yourself and it's your business and it's, Ashley Perez's AI cold caller she created, then that is 100% my liability. But I'm using Prop AI, who's taking that front stance for me, who's going to make sure that they are doing part of what they need to do to stay alive as a business, or else that business would get shut down before it reaches Ashley Perez. Right. Ashley Perez, though, does need to make sure that she is doing her best in finding leads lists from credible sources that are saying they've opted in, or I've set up my own web forms and ads and pulled in people to sign up for my marketing lists. So you can do one of those two, but I do get a list from a site. I share this all the time, is from usbizdata.com. And this website will allow you to buy an entire SIC code for $27. And they have it listed on that website that they get their leads from people that have opted in. So I'm protected in two ways. I got my list from US Biz Data. It says it on their website. I'm also using Prop, who's taking the front end of that for me and protecting and making sure that they're regulated so that they can stay alive as a business. So I'm doing the best that I can. And if people tell me that they want me to take them off their list, I'm going to take them off the list.
I love it.
I said to somebody, what I was going to say is that I said to somebody, they're like, isn't it illegal for text messaging? I'm like, that's the same as me walking into a business that has a no soliciting sign. Like, you know how many businesses I walked into that have a no soliciting sign on the front of it, and I've actually gotten the deal done. Like, so many things can, even during this election, how many political text messages that I get that I was like, I didn't sign up for that, man.
Can get quite annoying.
Yeah, don't let it stop you. Don't let that one thing stop you. Same thing happens when you go door to door. If you went residential and you don't have certain permits for certain neighborhoods, and then you have a cranky neighbor who's like, where's your permit? But how many times does that happen? We had a girl, it happened to her on her first day.
No way.
And poor her, it literally stained her and it stopped her from doing the job. And it's unfortunate.
Oh no, she quit?
Yeah, she quit. But that is what's going to happen, whether it's your first day, your second week, your third year, you're going to get these things that happen to you.
You have to be tough in sales. That is
You
a
just
tough
have to
job.
keep going. It's
Yeah.
it's literally a no. It's literally somebody
Yeah.
telling you no.
No.
And all that
Right.
means to us is not right now.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
And
not
so are you
everybody's cut
saying
out for
on,
that for sure. It's like door-to-door knocking. I know Pace says how many people should do that because there's always a deal
Yeah.
there. But how do you remember how many doors you had to knock on, Ashley, before you actually found your first deal?
So, in real estate or in sales is general?
In real estate, looking for houses, since that's kind of what people are.
Yeah, so you're gonna need to know your law of averages. And I always say this all the time is that in your pool, you've got 10% of people that are absolute yeses. When you knock on their door, they were ready. It was like they were waiting for you. And then you've got 10% of people who are like, absolute no's. Get out of my face. Why did you call me? Get away from me. But the majority of our pool are 80% of people who don't even know, who are maybes, who you need to have conversations with continually. And there's a law of average. And as you continue to get better and better, your law of average will just increase and become, you'll just improve your numbers. In the beginning, in order for me to have found my first deal, I would say probably took me like 40 to 50 houses, calling on sellers before you finally talk to the one who was really interested in doing it the way that you wanted to get it done, which is creative. And not everybody knows creative. So
and you are already a pro salesperson, Ashley. And so for you to have to go through 40 to 50 houses,
Right.
that just shows how difficult this industry can be. You really have to be persistent and tenacious.
Yeah, and the other thing too that you need to keep in mind, right, is, and Ashley, I'm sure you know this stat really well, right? It takes 7 to 10 touches to make a sale, right? So just going and knocking on that door that first time, like she just said, right? No just means not now, right? And so knocking on that door first time might be a no, but that doesn't mean don't go knock on that same door again, right? Or touch them in some other way. So whether that's then follow up with a phone call, follow up with a postcard, follow up with an email, follow up. The fortune is always in the follow up. I can't tell you how many deals that I followed up for a year and a half and then knocked that sale out. It was just, amazing. So,
yeah, because they're not going to be, you're going to call, or even if you knocked on the door, they're not there. You knocked on the door, they don't answer, there's just so many reasons why you don't get in touch with the person that's ready to go right then and there. And that's where I think people assume that it's just going to be super quick. And if they don't, people fail, they'll just give up after the 5, 10 no's.
Right. Well, we'll hear these gurus on here going, don't get me wrong, I love Brent Daniels, but they see that over and over and they're like, oh, this gotta be so simple. And what they're not hearing is the persistence and the resilience and the number of times you have to keep going back. And that's what makes you win.
It's about building that relationship too, because the more you talk to somebody, the more you touch them, the more they become familiar with you, the more comfortable they become, and the more they feel like they can trust you. And it's about giving back to them in ways that they can see that they can trust what you're doing and what you're trying to help them with, or just being able to just have that, communication with them and that connection, I guess I should say.
Even for you as a newbie, you're working through your working how you say these things,
Yeah, true.
You'll only get better and you'll know why someone said it. Oh, I remember when someone gives this objection, it's because they're thinking this, and there are things where I'm like, I can get back to you on that. like, but once you answer it a handful of times, the next time that question comes up to you, you'll have your answer ready and prepared, and you'll just get better and better and better. And so when you get someone like Brent Daniels, who's going to show off his superpower skills, it's literally because he's probably done this thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And he's
Exactly.
like Jamil, like freaking Pace, like these guys do it 1,000 times, and you've got to put in the reps. As a new person, you've got to get the reps in. You got it. You'll find it. You will find the person or have the conversation that's actually going to get the deal done. You just can't give up. It's like that meme where you see the person mining and then they stop right before they hit the gold.
Right? 3 feet from gold. Yep. 3 feet from gold. Absolutely. Yep. And not get discouraged, right? Not to give up, right? And look, remembering the statistics is so important. I think I do a lot of mentoring of newer wholesalers, mainly in the single family space. And that is what I hear all the time. Man, I can't get a deal. Well, how many calls have you made? 20. Okay. So, it takes like 500 calls to have 200 conversations to get 20 that might make a deal or could get under contract to get 2 to the closing table. You're going to give up after 20 calls?
Yeah.
Either this isn't for you or you need to understand and revamp your perspective on things here.
Yeah.
So, I agree. Yeah, Ashley, I love the background that you come from too. I worked for a direct a marketing company, advertising. So I did business to business, door to door stuff as well. So I love it. I love the passion there.
I love it. Yeah. When Donna asked me how many doors, back in the day, we would walk around with a paper tracking sheet and write down at every door. If we talk to the decision maker, check. If we talk to the manager, check. Like it was, you have to record
your SOP.
You got to know your numbers.
KPIs. Keep you tracking your KPIs.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yes. Thank you for that. What was your what would you say was your best deal when you went door knocking, just to maybe help encourage people that are going through this, what we just talked about, and they're like so close to hitting that pot of gold, like you were talking about or whatever. What would you maybe give them a good story of door knocking that will inspire them to go knock on another 20 tomorrow?
Well, what is inspiring for me and makes it a good deal is every time, whether it's in real estate, whether it's been in my other businesses, every satisfying deal is when we're engaging and we are, answering questions and getting to problems that could potentially be solved. Like that right there is very satisfying when you've got someone else either on the other line or standing in front of you who is actively trying to solve their problem with you. Feels like, I found somebody who's like, I can work through what I need to try to get to this end goal with. And
you're on the same team at that point, right? You're not selling anymore. You're on the same team with the homeowner.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel like you're helping them, right? Helping.
Yeah. So when you find that conversation, it might not be the deal, but when you find that conversation, it's how you know that you are on the right track and you're getting closer. Like okay, this is someone I've taken from here to here, and we're still working this out. My next one, like my next conversation could now be the next one that gets me all the way to the finish line. Or so it's never 100% situation for me. Oh, because those deals are always satisfying. I got them done, But when you know that you're on the right track is when you've got someone on the other end who is listening to what you have to say, who's asking you very good questions, who's wanting to work with you, who even is kind of complimentary on how you're handling it. That was, even if there was a person that told me no, for the person to that be sitting on the other side and to say, thank you so much for this conversation. I actually didn't know this. I didn't know that. You just educated me a little bit more, made me feel like I did something that day,
Yeah.
So that's what I would say to newbies is you have to just keep having conversations. And when you find somebody who's wanting to continue this conversation for you, it is just confirmation that there is somebody ready to be helped by you, and you're going to get there very soon. Just keep it going.
Yeah, there are all kinds of people out there who need help. You just have to find them, right?
Yeah.
That's what all the no's are. You're finding your way to the yes that needs help.
Correct.
Yeah, and they might not have connected with somebody else, but you're the one that they needed to knock on that door or make that call that they connect with, or the timing's just right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's terrible situations that people are in, like really bad ones, whether that's a bad business deal or a bad situation with their own their own home, there are people in some serious situations. And if they find the wrong person, like it's not you, it's somebody else who has really bad intent. Like sometimes they're just looking to get the deals done and they don't care about the other person on the other end. They're just looking at that commissions check. So you're saving them. If you've got the right intention, you're saving them somebody else who would have found that deal and just completely overlooked their situation and just moved them through. Which is why I was saying, about the prop AI stuff, like I'm really trying to make sure that the deals we work are in good terms and they're fair and we're doing the right by everyone involved. And so I don't want things to happen too fast. And I am really looking to help solve people's problems, and everybody's got that out there. And another thing too is somebody might not hear you, but they heard Monique.
Yes.
Because of her presence and the way she presented.
Yes.
And so we all can't feel like, oh my God, I'm calling in the same territory as this person.
Yes.
It's like they might not hear that person, but they might hear you. So keep your efforts going.
Oh my gosh, yes. I tell that to people all the time too. I do the dispo and I train ACT people, right? And I will have people like this one person has tried the same, calling the same person over and over, and it's always no. I'm like, hold up. Have this guy call, right? And we'll share things that way. And eventually somebody gets it under contract. And then we, make sure that the people that touched it before get a little piece of the pie, maybe not the whole thing, but And
that's a great method, Sharon. I never really thought about that, but that's great to have a team that can,
because I resonate with you, but I don't resonate with that person. But you might resonate with that person, and you might resonate with that person, right? And it's all about vibration, right? You've never walked into a room and just somebody has rubbed you the wrong way, and you don't know why, but just like, okay. You know what I mean? And so, but then there's other people that obviously, are fine with that part, right? And so it's all about that energy and connecting with the right people at the right time. Yeah. So you're absolutely right, Ashley, that it may be, calling in the same territory. Don't worry, absolutely. What is meant for you will always find you.
100%.
And I'm sorry, but you walk into Walmart to the bread aisle, and how many loaves of bread are there, and how many bread companies are there? So I personally please call my territory. You know what I mean? Because my people will find me, and that's that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that was all great advice, Ashley, because so many people have so many different mental blocks just to make the phone calls in the first place. And you really have to train your mind and put in some different thoughts in there that you were saying, like, these people need you. They need you to call them.
Yeah.
And they need you to help them so that the bad guy doesn't get in there and mess up
Yep.
their life even
That's
more.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good.
Yeah, I was.
It's good
Yeah,
when
because
they,
I had that with a gal in Florida. She had somebody trying to get money out of her and said, we help you for free. And then she was talking and I said, well, how long did that last? She goes, the first call, they wanted $1,000. And I'm like,
What? What?
oh yeah.
see?
It's just sad how they try to take advantage of these people that are losing their homes and stuff.
Yeah. I was going to say that we also can't be afraid of, the territory thing, because it could also be beneficial to you, because if they're constantly hearing the same calls and they say no, and they say no, and they say no, and then they finally get to you and they're like,
happen to be the one that was fine.
Yep.
I've heard, tell me what you want about it. And then they're like, oh my God. They like warmed them up for you,
Exactly.
Right?
Those other people just warmed them up for me. Now I'm ready to close, baby.
Or wore them down.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So
Yeah, no, but Kate's right. Like, there's people out there that don't understand at all real estate, what their options are, and really anything. They just know they can't pay their bills, and they don't know what to do next. And they're like, they aren't in this world. They don't really understand all the business end of things. And so when we get to those people, we can really change their lives. And for me, that's part of why I do what I do. So I can help people like that,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, learning how to get things done creatively has been a total game changer. I'm going to visit an RV park in Missouri next Tuesday night. And this gentleman, after talking with him, he was just trying to sell his property. One, he has negative P&Ls. So not very many people are looking at this just out the gate when you send the P&Ls. So
And for newbies, can you explain what P&L is?
Profit and loss statement. So looking at the business of the RV park, because when you're looking at commercial real estate, it's not just the real estate that you're buying the business. So you need to see the financial reports of the business's history. And this business for the last 2 years, although they keep doing better, they're at a negative overall for the business. And he wants to sell it, and he is just at a break even where he was selling it out. The price point that he was selling was at a break even, but after asking him more questions and talking to him more, he says that he wanted to sell it at a higher purchase price, but he's just trying to get the deal done, and he's just trying to, just get it off of his books. And I said, well, that doesn't seem like that's a good deal for you if you're just, selling it at a break even and you've dealt with negative P&Ls for the last 2 years. Why don't we work out something creative that can get you a higher purchase price if you agree to these terms? And he loved the idea and loved the purchase price, because now he's getting more. And I can potentially take over this business, which I think is still a little too high, for only $50,000.
And it would be a win-win situation, right? Everybody wins.
A 30-pad park with 7 cabins, a pool, a playground, a game room, an office, 4 acres. Then now I'm like, is negative P&Ls? You're like, what?
Yeah.
Opportunity? Like, what's? So we will find out. I'm gonna go see the park. We do have that LOI accepted, because I still do need to see his other financials, because I need to verify, where the negatives are for the business, and if that can actually be turned around. And if that is the case, I mean, to take over a property like that for that amount of money is is a great deal.
Amazing.
And Tim,
Absolutely. Tell us, you highlighted verify, right? Tell us a bit about underwriting. Talk to us about underwriting.
so underwriting, I've been wanting to share this for people because the same way that you don't have to be an agent to sell real estate, or you don't have to be a hedge fund manager to raise capital, is the same way you don't have to have a fancy financial background to look at deals. It's just all you need to know is the documents that you need to review. And with certain calculators, it's just kind of plug and play so that you can just spit out some final numbers to determine if the income can support the debt after these expenses is worth buying it at this purchase price. And so
It's just a
underwriting,
little addition and subtraction, right? Like you learned that in 4th grade.
it really is, if you just know the documents that you need to review. I think people get very hesitant and scared when they hear the word underwriting. It sounds so like, and it is important, but it's almost sounds like, oh my God, it sounds too important that I can't even do it. I need somebody else to look it over. But there are 3 very important documents that any person can look at and dissect at a first glance. There's an initial underwriting process, and then there's a deeper underwriting process. And the initial underwriting process is very basic and can help you determine just at a glance if this is worth looking further into. And those are get at least 2 to 3 years of profit and loss statements, get at least 2 to 3 years of the tax returns, and get at least the last 6 months of bank statements or a balance statement, but ideally bank statements, so that you can verify the income that is coming into the business. And then if that is actually getting reported to the government. So it's like these 3 things. And then with the profit and loss statement, it's just going line by line and then asking for the verifying documents for that category. For example, on a P&L sheet, you've got maintenance and repairs. Okay, well, what did you maintain and what did you repair? Send me those receipts so that I can see, okay, so I see that you're regularly maintaining your well and you repaired your roof. Cool. I don't have to do that anymore.
Right. Capital expenditures, right?
So you're just going line by line, and then you're just asking for the verifying documents to prove that they're not just plugging in numbers into a category and making it up. And sometimes that's what they do. And when they do that, is more opportunity to negotiate further in your favor. Because now you said you were doing this, or you said that this was going to be applied, but it's not. I'm not, for example, looking at this business that's a negative, that's got a negative P&L sheet. There are a couple line items that he's a franchise owner and he owns other RV parks. And what he's doing is he's making this park pay the franchise fee. So when I'm looking at the P&L, it's like shareholders health insurance. I'm like, well, that's not going to be on the P&L anymore. And then it's like shareholders, there's just like a couple of things that when you remove him out of the picture, it actually looks like it's a profitable business. Stop paying those fees. And
stop sucking the money out.
Yeah. And so I just need to verify that those are only those things. I need to verify that with the income that's coming in is actually, consistent. And so you don't need to be scared. I share a due diligence checklist. And on that due diligence checklist is a very detailed checklist of things that maybe people have and maybe people don't have. And it's in your discretion to determine whether or not that's something you need to review to take it over. But at its very basic form, you only need those 3 things to like really look at the business and determine if it's looks good enough to then take it anything further. So
Now you said you share a due diligence checklist. Is that in your master class?
it is in my master class. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Tell us about your master class.
Cool. So the free masterclass, which is this link here, shares a series of 6 or 7 videos where I break down the business of an RV park, but don't get too caught up in the fact that it's an RV park. A business is a business. It just happens to be this business of an RV park. And the process just is transferable into really any other business. And so I break down the different parts, like what to look for. How do you know when it's a good deal? I do a little bit of a review through this underwriting process. I share my calculators. I share my checklists. And that can be done at your own time. I am hosting a live masterclass where I am going to break down this Missouri park, and I will share other resources with the group. And also, if anybody does have any deals that they are afraid to underwrite, I will do that for them on that masterclass on December 19th.
Nice.
Awesome.
Sounds amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that going to be in Florida?
It's on Zoom. So it's it's on Zoom.
Do they sign up on at your
They
link?
can. It's in my bio at ashleyperezinvest.com. Yeah, they can sign up. This masterclass is the free class that they can do at their own time.
Love it.
From anywhere in the world, right?
From anywhere in the world on your own time.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Ashley, let's see, we have about 8 minutes left. I don't know if other people have any questions, because I wanted to ask you something, but I wanted to let other people go first if they have questions.
No, go ahead, Kate.
I'm so curious what your plan is to get to $1 billion.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So in the next 3 to 5 years, I actually have this journal, and it's a 5-year journal, and it only asks me to write down my 5 wins. But it's really cool because it's 5 wins dedicated to this journey of building out an acquisitions company in 3 to 5 years. The acquisitions company is what's going to help me acquire the property and build out the portfolio that I need to build out in order to get the $1 billion. But it starts with this acquisitions company that I'm in the process now of doing. That's probably going to take me 3 to 5 years to perfect and nail down these processes with the right team members. And then during that time, I want to help others on that journey with me. Yeah. And so being able to source the deals myself, partner with other people is really going to help me climb that mountain. Yeah. So the acquisitions company is my base camp, and that's something that I'm working on over these next 3 years. So you will see a lot of things happening with me.
I can't wait.
Thank you.
Was that Angie's awesome sound effects? I love it.
Yeah. Do it again, Angie. Give us something. Yes.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
That's great.
So Ashley, is your focus for your $1 billion acquisition company going to be RV parks, real estate, all of the above, other businesses? Is it boring businesses? Is it fun? What are you focusing on?
So my focus is entirely on acquiring good deals. In order for me to get to the $1 billion is definitely going to need to be in the multifamily space, in the hotel space, into big land, micro community deals, but I've got to build that up. And so right now, RV parks is a great avenue for, and the start. I mean, this first acquisition was 26 acres, 30 pads, a beautiful piece of property in Florida. The park that I was looking at was another 68 acres. Like, I'm just thinking like 100 acres of land. Like, that's amazing. But those are 1 million, 2 million. I'm going to need to be doing bigger deals in order for, in order for me to build that up, and not just real estate, but businesses as well. Like, businesses are going to do more than just land property deals. You need to find the assets that are going to be able to support big volume. So, how can, when I'm acquiring the businesses, where are we at? Am I taking a $4-5 million company to 10 million? And where am I buying a $10 million property that's going to take it to 20 million? And those are going to be the deals that I'm going to be needing to look at, but I'm not going to just put myself in RV parks, because RV parks are going to have a cap.
Right.
You're only going to be able to do so much. There are only so many RV parks in this country. And so I've got to be looking at all of the opportunity types. And so I was recently looking at this laundromat in Miami. I'm going to this Missouri deal. So I'm looking at storage facilities. I'm looking at party rentals. I'm looking at just good businesses that can support great financials that I can take from a 1x, 2x to something that I can turn into a 3, 4, 5 multiple within 5 to 10 years. So I'm looking at all the deals.
So what would it look like for somebody who had, maybe they found something and they don't know what they're doing, and what would that look like to partner with Ashley? What would you
That's a great question. So I think that there are two things that somebody absolutely needs to come with when they want to partner, whether that's with me or anybody else. And either they're going to come with the business or the property, or they're going to come with capital. Otherwise, we're just doing a charity deal.
Right.
So if you want to partner, it's you've either got the capital or you've already got the business or the property either acquired or under contract. So if that's what you're looking to do, because maybe you don't know the business side of things, and that's where you're looking for my value add into it, then I would ask that, all right, do you have this property, or are you going to help improve it with some capital? Because if not, then I'm going to be doing all of it.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
Right.
So are you raising capital too then, Ashley? Or you just yeah, big time, right? So you're doing that also. People realize that you got to be doing that while you're doing this as well. So
well, it's being done indirectly. It's being done by showing up, by building a personal brand, by giving value to people, by letting people know who I am, through other means. So, once I start doing that and putting who Ashley Perez is out into the world, then you attract the people who want to be doing business with you. But if you're not doing that, then your only thing that you're doing is like showing up and asking for this capital when you need it, how So you really have to be putting yourself out there so that you are attracting the people that want to be doing business with you, that have the capital, that believe in you, that can see and verify that you are a good business owner, that you have this prior experience. Because otherwise, I would be doing this one by one, and it's just too slow. For as big as I want to be.
Yeah.
So in this one that you just got that you're at, did you have a partner on this one? Did you? I think I missed that.
This one? Yeah. So I already had the capital, which is how I got into the park. And I would tell this to people too, is if you want to get invested, you should find somebody who has capital and wants to get into something, but doesn't want to be doing all the work for it. And so in this particular case, I had somebody who had $200,000 and was like, I want to be invested in RV parks. What do you know about it? And I was like, I'll be right back. And so I went out, I, did my education. I did some course. I connected with some people. I had already been doing the real estate thing. So like that was at least some experience that I was bringing to the table with it. But knowing that that was capital that I could deploy was like an instant, easy opportunity to just find the great deal to put it into. I did raise another 220,000 for this. So that was my extra part into this deal to get this deal done. So.
And from the time you
Awesome.
had that initial 200,000 to the time that you got into contract on the property, how long was that?
6 months.
That's not too bad. That's pretty good.
No.
I was hustling. I didn't
Yeah.
stop. I didn't
Yeah.
stop. I didn't stop. I also
Yeah.
had, so I had a hard money lender originally set up for this deal. The hard money lender came, showed up to this property. I walked them through. I broke everything down, shook my hand, told me to my face that this was going to be a deal that they were going to put money into. And then 2 days before closing, they backed out of the deal because I told them that I was putting that extra cash that I raised as a second lien. And apparently they didn't.
Oh,
No.
So that would make or break anybody right there. I mean, that was a big, that was a punch. That was a gut punch for sure.
Yeah.
And that's how we ended up working out the creative offer here, because I was like, listen, we've got the cash, we're ready to go. If you want to move on from this, then we should just work out these terms this way. And so we did.
Oh, great.
Awesome.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All
You have
right.
seller
Well, we
carry
are
on.
at the top of the hour.
Thank you.
So I don't want to cut anyone off. Is any final questions for Ashley before we let her go?
Well, I just feel like
No,
we could talk
this is
for
great.
another hour. Yeah.
I know, we totally could, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Actually, you'll have to come back because this was wonderful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah. Thank
Yes.
you for letting me be on your stage, and thank you for doing what you're doing with the community and bringing people up and allowing them to share their experience. This has been great. You ladies are wonderful. I love all of you. Thanks for letting me share my story.
It's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure to hear.
Ashley, and anybody who works with you will be fortunate.
Oh, Monique.
Absolutely.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on.
That's
That's
right. Well,
fantastic.
thank you so much, everyone. It was wonderful to see everyone tonight on Wholesale Hotties and have us ladies in real estate talking about real estate. Have a good night.
Have a great night, everybody.
And you. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.